Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here along with your boy Pete.
Yep.
And today, guys, we're here to talk about something that has been happening since human history, since sports has been created as a recreation. We know that there's been a lot of high prospects throughout the years. Guys like LeBron James, Bryce Harper, Sidney Crosby. I could go on and on about guys, especially in the basketball highlight mixtape days.
Yeah.
And one guy that's kind of par for the course was, of course, Zion Williamson. We remember watching his overtime highlights, Ball is Life, whatever basketball YouTube channel you like to watch the highlights, they had Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
And the biggest question that we're going to ask you today, or we're going to ask the audience as well, is do you think that Zion Williamson is the most hyped athletic prospect ever?
No. I think LeBron still is. I think LeBron is, really. Because it's pretty close. I would say he's definitely 1B, if you wanted to put it like that. Like 1A is LeBron, 1B is Zion. But just in terms of overall confidence in a prospect, I would say not only confidence, but just the expectation and then popularity, just name recognition. I think it's LeBron, but Zion is like really, really close. And I do think if he was to win the national championship, I do think he could probably take the crown.
I mean, the crazy thing is that, as Zion keeps going through the tournament, there's been a lot of people like Paul Pierce coming out and saying that he's a top 50 player already in the NBA. Yeah. You have people saying that he's already going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, this is where it starts to pile on. And, of course, LeBron James's time, it was something new. We haven't seen it before. Yeah. It was crazy because we haven't seen someone be covered in college or in high school, that is, like a LeBron James ever. Yeah. Like, there's been times like that, especially when it was Zion Williamson versus LaMelo Ball, and that was just because of the baller brand and all that stuff that we won't get into today. But, we talked about those two guys, and the gym was full. No one could get in the gym. Yeah. Now it's a par for the course in high school basketball. But when LeBron James did it, it was something that you rarely even saw.
Definitely. I mean, I would break this up into two categories, and then I'll pose a question back to you. So there's not only the sheer terms of like popularity or name brand recognition, but then like where would you rank Zion in terms of sheer like a grade of a prospect, right? Because he's very clearly like a pretty top tier basketball prospect of all time. But the question that keeps coming back to me the more I watch him is like I always like to rank people. It's just something I do when I watch basketball. I always do it, but I like to consider like where would you put Zion in the pantheon of like great NBA prospects in the last 20 years?
I mean, like I said, he is right there with LeBron James. I think that's the last guy that, in my opinion, in my generation, I'm sounding so old right now, but when I was growing up playing basketball, it was John Wall. We remember the John Wall mixtape. Those were absolutely crazy because, the fact that he was so lightning quick, his assist ability. I mean, everything about John Wall, and when that mixtape came out, because that was when I think truly the mixtape days. Yeah. Besides the and one stuff that was in the early 2000s.
I think you're right. I think it was John Wall.
But John Wall really revolutionized what we see now today in Ball is Life and overtime and whatever covers and high school basketball. Yeah. To me, I think it's Zion Williamson for the matter of fact that his ability, not only at his size, but also his weight as well. I mean, this guy has a 40-inch vert with 285 on his back.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, too, that really works in Zion's benefit, and maybe this is me convincing myself that maybe he's 1A and LeBron's 1B, is that he went to college. That is big. And, whether or not he needed college is not even the point of discussion, but just the fact that he went to a huge program like Duke and really, by all means, has improved basically every game of the season and not only lived up to the hype, but kind of crushed the hype has been huge. And his performance in March Madness in the tournament has been pretty impressive. Yeah. Like, I was so impressed with how he took over that UCF game in the last 2 minutes. He basically told RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish, like, just get out of my way. Let me take care of this and get us the W.
And the thing is, that's not even his nature. His nature is to be very everyone involved, everybody eats type of mentality. And that's the thing. That's the one thing that Zion has. And when we do a preview of the mock drafts and all that stuff like that, we'll go more into depth as to why Zion Williamson will work, at least in my opinion, why he'll work in the NBA. But the fact that he's able to do that, and the fact that, like you said, he crushed the expectations, and even since coming back from the injury, averaging 28, 8, on 70% shooting in 30 minutes.
Ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Those are the numbers that we would have expected to see LeBron put up in college, right? But the thing that works against LeBron is that we never got to see it. He went right from being an incredibly famous in regards to being a high school basketball player to being an incredibly famous NBA player. But he didn't have that kind of maturation period into stardom that Zion is going to get, which he really hasn't, because he kind of was really famous from the minute his mixtape started to come out in high school. But I do think like this college lifestyle is going to do Zion wonders, you know? And it's put a lot of good, in my opinion, a lot of good things in perspective for Zion too. Like the fact that he came back from being injured and he wanted to play is huge. The fact that he's willing to take over in a game like that, in a game of that magnitude for him and his team, that's huge. There's a lot of things that, like, the very few doubts that I had about Zion have really all been shattered by him this season, which in that regard, I mean, the guy is like, he's about as surefire of a NBA talent as it has gotten ever for me.
Yeah, and I think the most exciting thing about this whole thing is the fact that he's a number one prospect, or a guy that was top of the college or the high school list, that actually went to a team that's going to be going deep into the tournament. We know guys like Ben Simmons, guys that previously, before, except maybe like Carmelo was the last guy to really do it.
AD too.
AD. But you know what I mean? Like those guys where they've lived up to the hype of not only being a high school prospect, but also a college prospect as well, by reaching the pinnacle of getting to the college basketball tournament. Like a lot of guys that we've seen, you know, go in the top 10, usually sometimes they're like, you know what? We're not even making the tournament.
I mean, think of D-Rose. Where did Memphis even go that season? Did they go to the NIT that year? I don't even remember. Memphis is never like traditionally a very good college basketball program, but like your point is very true. Like there's a lot of these guys. Like even think of Luka, right? People, even though it might not be fair, people don't give a lot of credit to what he was doing in the Liga BBVA, right? Because it's not college basketball. It doesn't have the same clout as, you know, the whole college basketball framework does and March Madness does. So really, I mean, the thing too with Zion is he could have had so many excuses as to why he wasn't playing up to his potential. He could have had a lot of people who hated on him for different reasons. Like you're on a team with two of the other top 5 prospects in all of college basketball. Of course you're going to be good, but nobody feels that way about him. If anything, he's made those guys look bad. You know, that's the craziest part about him, is he's playing with two really world-class talents beside him. Not only those guys, but the rest of Duke is all, you know, 5-star recruits. Yeah. And he makes them look like junior varsity team players, you know? That's the thing that's so mind-blowing about Zion.
And just a quick correction, Derrick Rose did get the championship game, but they lost to Kansas.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Holy, sorry.
That was the one with Mario Chalmers hitting the big shot.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, D-Rose. Damn, that was just embarrassing.
But just going back to the Zion thing, like you said, Zion Williamson, if he's not in the lineup, Duke is a completely different team, and they are beatable. They're a team that anybody from UCF, if Zion wasn't playing, I think UCF would have routed them, honestly.
They could have.
Just because of how Zion Williamson, like I said, I mean, this is probably going into like a draft profile for Zion now. But his ability to just take over the game when he needs to, and the fact that he doesn't need the ball to score or even be effective in a game, just goes to show you what type of guy he is. And the reason why a lot of people were really excited and hyped up to see that Zion Williamson chose Duke from high school and all those mixtapes, that he chose Duke to play with two other very top-rated high school prospects.
And the last thing I'd say about Zion too is just like his mentality as a basketball player, not only just as a basketball player on the court, but off the court. Like the way he kind of presents himself as a person is probably the most representative of LeBron's mentality of any prospect I've seen too, which is, that puts him up in that category where he doesn't necessarily seem to care too much that he's that important of a basketball player. And he really, like you said, his play style represents that. Like he likes to get everybody involved, but he just seems like a good dude, which adds to the level of popularity and trust in him as a player. He's not going to let, the popularity or the sheer magnitude of being the guaranteed number 1 pick in this NBA draft get to his head. I think that's really that speaks wonders about him.
Yeah, and then when we look at lists, like you said, talking about prospects earlier, the earlier question, you got guys like Bryce Harper, Sidney Crosby, like Andrew Luck at one point, all these other players, Greg Oden, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, nobody cares about those guys as much as they do about Zion. That's not even a question. I don't even know. I don't even think, really.
No, I mean, I think he shattered the mold, and like you said, I think because of the overtime, the Ball is Life, all these YouTube prospects, since dating back to when John Wall did it and made it popularized, Zion Williamson just took that stuff and completely took it over. I mean, like I've talked about earlier, he was selling out arenas in high school. Yeah, 15 and 16 years old. It's craziness. I mean, that's the one thing that just boggles my mind, is the fact that at such a young age that he was able to sell at arenas, and we even saw him sell at arena this year for $4,000 to go see him play UNC. Yeah, and he really has not once disappointed besides the injury that he had in that game, which literally the craziness of the injury was almost worth price of admission. Like, you don't want to see the guy get injured, but he's so impressive in every way that even he makes his injuries look crazy. Right. Like, that's wild, I don't know, man. It's really, it's crazy. The guy just takes over, and he's galvanized the entire sport of college basketball around him, too. Exactly, and the ratings are up there, and the ratings are a little bit down for the NBA just due to some other situations going on with load management that we talked about in another video. But like I said, the fact that college basketball needed a Zion Williamson, because it feels like it's been forever since we've had a prospect like Zion come into the college game. I'm sure the college game, unfairly reaped the benefits of what Zion Williamson brought to the game. Definitely. I mean, this is a completely different discussion, but it's not necessarily fair to him, but he doesn't seem to care. No. And that's the coolest thing about Zion Williamson. When he got injured, a lot of people said, you know what, you should shut it down, get ready for the NBA, don't worry about it. Zion Williamson is a different guy. Like, he is a guy that just loves the game of basketball. Absolutely. Loves it. And loves to play with his brothers as well, with Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett, because they formed such a bond together, because they played together before. They decided to go to Duke together, because Zion Williamson could have went to Kentucky, could have went to all these other colleges, whatever college he wanted to go to, it was there for him. He could have just sat the year out and still gotten taken number 1 overall. Playing the JBL. Really, he could have. And the thing is, too, he made the most hated, one of probably the 5 most hated teams amongst all sports, the Duke men's basketball team, a beloved college basketball team. Yeah, like, everybody loves them. They don't. People are gonna look back at this season forever. Don't forget it. Forever, they're going to look back at this Duke basketball season fondly, because it has one of the most exciting players who everybody loves and wants to watch play every single night. Exactly. And we want to ask you guys, the Charger audience, do you guys think that Zion is the most athletic prospect, the most hyped athletic prospect that we've seen before in sports history? Or do you guys think that Zion Williamson is 1A and 1B with LeBron James, or even another prospect that you guys think, like a Bryce Harper, or whoever you guys think in your opinion is that? But anyway, guys, this has been your boy Bernie along with your boy Pete, here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And guys, like we talked about numerous amount of times in each and every video, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go and hit that subscribe button. Also remember to hit that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss our NBA content. We have videos, and not even NBA, but we have college as well, talking about, like we hear today, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, John Morant, whoever. We got you covered on that. Women's basketball with that video coming out. We've got you. But anyway, guys, like I said, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.